It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games were missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this is the official Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. post-fight review, and your result of the fight, like I called it by the exact round, it was a Terence Crawford 9th round stoppage. Now, we got Pops here, we got Alex here. We'll get the thoughts down in a second, but let me just say this before I swing it over to one of them. A lot of people compare this fight to Hearns versus Leonard, the great welterweight fight back in the day. A lot of people compare this to Hagler-Hearns, but to be honest, guys, and listen, if you're an Errol sexual, if you're an Errol Spence fanboy, run for cover because you're not gonna like this tough pill to swallow. This was not those aforementioned fights. This fight was Mayweather-Gatti 2.0. I never thought it would be that uncompetitive. I thought Crawford would win him easily, but not that easily. Three knockdowns and a stoppage, beating him every round out of the southpaw stance, not throwing one punch as an orthodox fighter. I mean, there's a lot I could say, but we got two other people here. We got two other people here, so let me be courteous. I'll swing it over to Pops. Pops, what did you think about Crawford Spence?
I think Nebraska Sun came out today and made a big statement that he probably would have made 5 years ago, when the fight should have been done, and he proved today why he was going to be the pound for pound, beating on Errol, the true Spence, and he did it in every way, in every way he could. And I always say skills pay the bills, and Bob came out here and did it.
How about you, Alex? Talk your shit, man.
Man, bro, yo, for real, man, like. You was smoking Reggie all them years, man. Not Bud.
Alex on a natural high.
Not no Bud, man. You was smoking that Reggie, bro.
Yeah.
And you know what? I said it on live, and I want to say it here for people that are gonna watch. I want to give my respect to Errol Spence. I'm not a hater.
Yeah.
I obviously didn't rate Errol Spence highly as a lot of people. But still, he was unified champion. He had beaten some really good fighters and been in a lot of fights that I enjoyed, so I'm not going to be disrespectful to him. And I also want to apologize for the bad attitude I had the last year and a half to 2 years covering this fight. I was just very angry because, I knew what this fight was. I knew that Al Heyman and PBC, they delayed the inevitable. Yeah. They delayed the inevitable. They wanted to clean their side of the street up, so they got the broom and the dustpan and they did what they had to do. Then they delayed. They acted like Crawford wasn't even relevant or didn't exist. I remember, I think it was during the Thurman Pacquiao fight. They had the graphic for all the welterweight champions, and they showed all the champions but Terence Crawford in that graphic. That's crazy. Like he didn't exist. Yeah. So it was always blatant disrespect from PBC. They blamed Bob Arum for not making that fight happen. But from what we saw tonight, we now know why the fight didn't happen. Yeah. Because for all the durability Spence has, and he's got a lot of durability, for all the great jab he has, and he's got a fantastic volume jab, he didn't have the speed, the footwork, or the versatility in his offense to cope with what Terence Crawford was bringing to the table, and that was abundantly clear in this fight. So much like Inoue Fulton, this was not a 50-50 fight. This was actually
closer.
What's crazy was, right, when I watched Inoue Fulton earlier in the week, I thought, because my original statement before this fight week was, I said Inoue and Fulton was the more competitive fight. And then when I watched Inoue Fulton fight, I said, damn, I guess I'm going to be wrong, because there's no way in hell Errol Spence is going to get beat up worse than Fulton did. Yeah. Well, looks like I was right. Inoue and Fulton was the more competitive fight.
It's crazy.
This was Mayweather-Gatti 2.0. And for a lot of years, because Alex will tell you, I love Terence Crawford is one of my favorites, but my favorite welterweight has always been Kell Brook. And Kell Brook lost a lot of big fights, so I had to always hear people about Kell Brook. But quiet as kept, he did a lot better against Terence Crawford. I know it was only 4 rounds, but what he did in the first 2 rounds was better than what Errol did over, 9 rounds against Crawford.
Bro, Derry Jean did better.
Derry Jean did better. Gamboa did better. All you Errol sexuals, as my boy Coach Malachi likes to say, you guys used to shit on his resume, but his whole resume did better against Crawford than Errol did. So you guys Man, it's gonna be a long week for a lot of you guys because some of y'all picked Fulton and Spence. I mean,
No,
listen,
never mind,
if you picked Fulton, and if you picked, I'm okay if you went 1-1. If you picked both Fulton and Spence, stop talking about boxing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say skill pays the bills, and
skills pay the bills,
and we all knew that the better skill fighter all the way around was T-Bud. I honestly thought going to the fight, and I'll say real quick, is I thought Spence was gonna put that pressure like this to other opponents, but let's get it right. T-Bud is not every other opponent.
Nope.
And he proved tonight that that pressure that Spence was putting on all the opponents, he could not do against T-Bud.
And you know, one thing that I always said for years, and by the way, guys, if you guys are questioning if I really said these things, I'm going to go through every Crawford Spence video I've ever made, going all the way back to 2018. And I'm going to literally pull things I was saying back then that came true in this fight. And I don't care if it's 3 hours long. I'll put it out. Yeah. I'll put the shit out just so it's on record, right? But one of the things I always said was, I said two things. I said, one, Terence Crawford, not only I think he's a better southpaw than Errol Spence, but I also think he's the only welterweight in the division that could, you know, in terms of physical strength, hold his ground and push him back. And what did we see in this fight? We saw Terence Crawford, a little boring Errol Spence, pushing him around the ring.
Man, he was like going like
as if he was the natural welterweight.
Yeah,
so that natural welterweight shit, it didn't matter. It didn't mean a damn thing when push came to shove.
I thought that Spence was a bigger fighter. But when I seen T-Bud grab him like this and just push him like this, and then you know, just totally dominate him, I said, man.
And you know what? I'm gonna say this too. A lot of because I got into an argument on Instagram with a Spence fan, and I told him, I said, because he was talking about, because the one thing Spence would like to pull out was Terence Crawford's fight with Jose Benavidez. Now, y'all better put some respect to Jose Benavidez. He went almost 12 rounds with Terence Crawford. And the point I was making is this guy on Instagram who has a channel whose name I will not say on this platform because he doesn't deserve true school sports clout. But he stated that you know, how is Crawford gonna stop Spence when he didn't even stop I forgot who he named. He said it took 12 rounds to stop Benavidez. I said, and the point I made was, I said that was early in Crawford's welterweight run. He wasn't fully filled out. He was still getting used to the weight. This is Spence is not fighting that Crawford. Spence might have had a chance. He might have had a chance against that Crawford. But the guy he fought tonight was a full-fledged welterweight who had about, what, 7 or 8 fights in the division, and was really pissed off. I mean, you got to really think about what Crawford went through. And you know what? It's hilarious, right? Because me and Pops in the chat, and by the way, shout out to everybody that joined live, we had this thing where we said, you know, will Terence Crawford thank Al Heyman if he wins the fight? And he beat Spence, became undisputed, and I didn't hear him thank Al Heyman. So Al Heyman, he tried to screw Terence. Terence Crawford is the only fighter I've ever seen go on PBC, beat the dog shit out of a PBC fighter, and then he don't thank Al Heyman. Now, maybe he'll thank Al Heyman in the other press conference. Maybe he'll tell him, hey, you got to thank Al Heyman in the press conference.
But I like this.
But in the ring, he didn't thank Al Heyman.
Yeah.
So that's some cold-blooded shit, but I respect it. So,
hey, listen, today all
the talk is done. If you were dick riding Errol Spence,
NBC,
make sure you continue dick riding Errol Spence and make your excuses because he was never on Crawford's level.
I mean, we all knew what was going to happen, and like I go back to the saying I said earlier, skills pays the bills, and what's crazy was he never used his right hand at all.
Not he didn't the one.
I don't know if that was later on, but
someone made a great point in the live. They said he basically adopted Shakur Stevenson's whole style. Yeah. Basically, Errol got beat by Shakur Stevenson pretty much. That's how Terence fought. He fought like, what do you think, Alex? You think he fought like a Shakur Stevenson type fight? Or blended his style, obviously, but like it was a southpaw educated style like Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, and I said, I don't know if I said it in the beginning of the video or not, but I'll be honest, that all that timing shit that Spence is talking about, just go get your check and move on because your timing is not going to help you beat this guy. This guy's going to come out twice as good, better than, if not, what he did to you.
He might even get him out of there in 6 the next few times.
And I mean, I'm not trying to hate on you, Spence, but the reality is, I know as a competitor, you always want to see you can come back and beat this guy. But man, when he put him down 3 times, Brandon,
3.
That's what really, like, for me, it was it was written down.
He beat him inside, mid range, outside, counter punching, lead. Oh my God, it was. Listen, man, boxing fans got a treat. In a way, early in the week gave us a treat, and then Crawford gave us a treat as well. I was sitting here mesmerized, and I've been watching Terence Crawford for years. Back in the HBO days, I remember when I used to have a job making pizzas, and I ran 4 miles. I ran 4 miles to my house just in time to see him fight Derry Jean. Okay, so I've been a Bud fan for a long time, and even me as someone who really knows Bud's style. Yeah, in New York. even as somebody who really knows Bud's style, I covered the Hank Lundy fight.
Mm-hmm.
I was mesmerized. It was beautiful. This was all everything I said in the past. I take it all back. I just had a bad attitude because
you get frustrated.
I got angry that people had thought this. That's how much it angered me. I got so angry about this fight that I just started saying stupid shit and
I think
because everyone made it sound like, oh, this is such a close fight. I just can't pick. I'm like, well, then you know shit about boxing. If you can't pick this fight, you don't know shit about boxing. It's the easiest fight to pick. Hey, Crawford. Hey, it was never going to be any other way.
I'm no expert, but I will say one thing.
And mind you, I speak as somebody. I've gotten some. I come here every week and I get fights wrong, but like there's some fights where like, and I'm gonna quote my boy Sean to tell as well. There's sometimes when you break down styles and you watch the tape, sometimes it's exactly what it looks like. You know, sometimes we overthink things, we overanalyze things. It's exactly what it looks like.
When you bake a cake?
When you bake a cake, it's a damn cake. You know, I heard people try to say Errol Spence is going to get on his back before they start boxing Crawford. I said, when has he ever done that?
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
The crazy part was Crawford was pushing on his back foot.
He was pushing on his back foot. So if he was going to do it, he had 9 rounds to do it. And he didn't show it. So, you don't want to see a rematch, right?
I obviously don't. I don't
want to see one. So, my thing is this. We'll ask 2 questions before we wrap it up. So, the first question we will ask is if they got a rematch call, so that's probably what's going to happen. But in a perfect world, if you guys had it your way, I'll start Pops. Who do you want to see Crawford fight next?
I want him to move up to 154 and fight Mr. Keep Running Your Mouth.
Well, Keep Running Your Mouth has a date with
I'm saying after whatever you got to do, I don't care.
What about Tim Tszyu? Tim Tszyu needs a fight.
Oh, yeah, Tim Tszyu, that's fine. But I'm saying I want him to go 154 and go become undisputed.
Okay.
There's nothing more he can do.
There's
nothing more he can do at 147 except maybe for whatever reason. I don't think it's relevant now fighting Thurman. But I'm saying there's nothing he can do. He's done it. He became undisputed.
Yeah.
He did 140, 147. Boom.
Yeah. Alex.
Yeah.
You had it your way. Who's Crawford fighting next? If you had it your way.
Man, if he stays at 147, make that Jerron Ennis.
Jerron Ennis.
Oh, shit.
Yes,
yeah, right.
You know, make that Jerron Ennis.
If they do fight, who you favorite? I know it's kind of, we just saw Crawford put on like one of the greatest fights I've ever seen, but we're all probably going to pick Crawford because what we saw.
Man, you know what, man? Not Crawford, man, because, like, listen, bro.
You got to go with Crawford.
I'm going to tell you this, man. If Boots and Crawford fight, like, I like Boots. I think Boots has every skill under the sun to beat Crawford, but we saw when he fought, and I hate to bring it up because I know the Philadelphia contingent not gonna like when I say this, but we saw when he fought Karen, right? Karen, he had a hard time cutting the ring off. We know Crawford can move around the ring really well. He's an effective counterpuncher going backwards and forwards. It's a great fight. I hope we can get it.
Yeah, I think
I'll get what you want.
Yeah, I think it would be a good fight between Boots Ennis and Crawford for the simple fact that we're going to get a better fight than what we've seen from Spence because of his movement.
All right, now I'm going to ask you guys this, and this will probably cause some debate in the comments. There's been a lot of debate about who's pound for pound number one. Some people say Inoue because he had a great performance against Foden, and then Crawford seemed to match Inoue. Maybe even in some cases, maybe he even had more dominant performance than Inoue. So I'll start with Alex. Alex, do you even have pound for pound number one, or
I do?
Who is it? Is it Crawford and Spence, or are they share the mantle? Or
with the way Spence performed, this is gonna be my second time changing it. Because originally I had Usyk one.
Okay.
But then Inoue did good. I had him one.
Oh, so now you got Crawford.
I gotta put, man. I just have to put Crawford.
Now I'm gonna tell you all this. Before I go to Pop, I'm gonna tell you all about me, right? And this is just me. Before this fight happened, and Alex can vouch for what I'm saying because I had a whole conversation with Alex about this just before the live. But I personally don't think Errol Spence going into the fight was a top 10 pound for pound fighter. He hadn't really done anything. He's been inactive for a while. He hadn't really been beating, a slew of top guys in a 12-month span. So I named Alex about 10 or 11 fighters who I thought had a legitimate case to be above, Errol Spence. And Alex agreed about 8 of them.
Yeah.
About 8 of them, 8 or 9 of them. Maybe 1 or 2 he didn't. But so for me, I actually had Steven Foden higher pound for pound than Errol Spence, which may sound crazy to you guys. So, ideally, I probably should have Inoue pound for pound number one. But see, I'm a fair guy. I'm not a hater. Contrary to what you guys think, I'm not a hater. I saw that was one of the best boxing performances I've ever seen in my life. So if I had a pound for pound list,
You got to put Crawford above Inoue.
I'm not putting neither one of them above each other. I'm putting them 1A, 1B. I'm going to tell you why. There's reasoning to this. Terence Crawford won his first world title in 2014. Now, Inoue won his first title in 2014. This was Terence Crawford's 18th world title fight. Inoue's had 20 world title fights.
Oh, wow.
And they both have amazing records in those world title fights. They both have dominated the competition with an incredible, slew of knockout victories. So, and the thing is, the year's not done yet. Inoue can still match Crawford by being undisputed if he fights Marlon Tapales later this year. So I feel like because we don't know what Inoue is going to do next, and you want to still give Crawford that respect, and you don't want to make sure, I got to put them both. Like, I don't even want to say 1A and 1B. They're just my joint number one. Because I feel like if I say 1A and 1B, no. They're just my joint number one, and everybody else can play for keeps in second place. That's where I'm at. I feel like that's fair. And that's just what's going to be, Pops.
Me personally, I give 2 fucks about the it's very opinionated.
Yeah. So
we're gonna argue this all night long. I'm just gonna say that
you should appreciate the greatness for what it is.
Yeah, for each fighter in each division.
I like that.
And I like that. I'm not gonna go into this propound. I don't have no hair anymore, so I don't know what else.
We can't pull it out.
Yeah, arguing anymore about anything and getting into it. You all have your opinions. I'll go whatever you guys say. But me personally, to me, pound for pound don't mean shit.
Okay, there you go. Pound for pound don't mean shit. But you know what does mean shit? The boxing fans mean a lot of shit. Without the boxing fans, channels like mine don't exist. Great events like these don't happen. So we appreciate you guys. Please make sure you guys, and I'm gonna do this myself. I'm definitely gonna go at some point buy some Terence Crawford merch. He earned me to go buy some merch. He's been one of my favorite fighters for a long time, and I'm just happy that I got to witness this. And by the way, last thing. Last thing. What an entrance. Like, was he really ever going to lose after he came out with Eminem and the fishnet? There was just no way.
Because the whole plot about the big fish and Thurman's, Spence said he wants to...
That was like a movie.
He said, I think this before the fight happened, Spence said, we're going to have some crawfish, and it ended up being Crawford with the fishnet doing all the fishing, and he caught the big fish and put him in that net and carried him out 3 times.
So it was just honestly... I had my doubts. I had a bad attitude a lot for the last couple of years just because of what happened. But I apologize. Much respect to Crawford. Much respect to Spence.
Yep.
I take back everything bad I ever said about either one of them. And yeah, with that being said, listen, we'll have a lot more to talk about this in the coming days. But just marinate on what happened tonight, guys. Enjoy the fights. Everyone who went to the fights that's in Vegas, please be safe, as I know it is crazy out there. And yeah, on that note, like I say in every single one of these videos, y'all can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. We're here at the Hatanaka Boxing Gym in Nagoya, Japan. And for more great videos just like this one, make sure you guys click right here.